Rwanda. Sarah, nice to chat to you once again. I understand that a media briefing has just concluded, and the issue which was under the spotlight there was South Sudan. Who addressed that media briefing and what did they say?
Well, there was a press conference about Sudan which has just concluded. It was addressed by members of the ECOSOC and also a former minister from Sudan. And what he said is that they are worried that Sudan has had sanctions slapped on them when they should not have. One of the issues they're saying is that they want to renegotiate their stand in the international community, saying that the issue of the ICC should not see them out from issues that concern the continent. Now, Aubrey, I'll just turn over to one of our guests who we have here, and who will be giving us his name and also taking us through some of the issues. As you said there in the intro, we talked about the exit of the UK affecting how Africa trades, and he's going to introduce himself to us, and then he'll just give us a brief of what he does at the African Union.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, madam. My name is Khabele Matlosa. I'm the Director for Political Affairs at the African Union Commission in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. And I lead the department that is in charge of governance on the continent to ensure that the democratic and participatory governance is entrenched on our continent. And we're also in charge of the idea of the free movement of persons on the continent, which is going to also involve the launching of the African passport during the summit.
Now, before we get to the African passport, which is quite an interesting issue, we just want to go back to the issue of governance and political stability on the continent. At this time, we have had a lot of presidents, especially from the East African region, starting to talk about a third term, some of them even removing constitutional term limits. Are we regressing in terms of our democracy as a continent?
A very good question. When you look at our continent, actually, it's very interesting developments, because you will recall that our continent was experiencing serious challenges in terms of entrenching governance on the continent, largely because of conflicts. Let's recall interstate conflicts as well as intrastate conflicts on our continent. Now, following the collapse of the Cold War, even the collapse of apartheid in South Africa, very important developments. We've seen our continent entrenching a culture of democratic governance, broadly speaking.
Yes.
And it's been a very, very encouraging development with the multi-party elections, no longer military coups, as you remember, no longer military coups, no longer one-party state. We're now under a multi-party system with regular multi-party elections. It's a fantastic story to tell. But we still now are experiencing serious challenges. And the challenge that we have now across our continent is the whole question about constitutional term limits, where we have a situation where a number of our countries have attempted to change constitutions and to prolong tenure of presidents in office.
Well, our apologies there. We have lost our live link to Kigali in Rwanda, but as soon as we re-establish that, we will return to our East Africa correspondent, who is